Percentage-wise, isn't the greatest, but it's like I said, it's better to have a chance than have no chance at all. And then when you catch that big bass, or you have that stellar day, you know, them stellar days are only, if you fish for a whole month, maybe 1 or 2 times a month, you'll have that stellar day.
What's going on, everybody? I'm Brett Amundsen. We're here at Bienville Plantation. Now, that's near White Springs, Florida. We're about an hour west of Jacksonville. This is a legendary bass fishing plantation. It's full of pit lakes where they've been digging phosphorus. Those lakes are filled in with water, and they're teeming with bass, crappie, catfish, and other fish species out here. There's also a few alligators out here too. So we're gonna fish these lakes that are down here. We're gonna try out some new Shimano gear, maybe see some alligators, and hopefully catch like a 15-pounder.
Oh, I don't know. This one was like on the far left-hand corner, way up there.
This one's killer. If you go through, just go down.
We're gonna go find a gator.
Pipe, and it opens up in the last section.
Yeah.
Right there is a small hump island, just really small. He's as big as the island.
So go through the cut through, or just go all the way to the far side?
No. As soon as you get through the cut through, you'll see him.
Okay.
He's right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Let's go hunt.
Let's go find a gator.
Let's go gatoring. My name is Greg Dipalma. I am a Bassmaster Elite Series Pro from Millville, New Jersey. New Jersey is probably one of the most diverse places as far as bass fishing goes because we have a ton of lakes around the areas. So, you know, it kind of, as a fisherman, it's really good because they're all different. So we see a lot of different scenarios. I don't fun fish that much anymore. I just thrive to fish the tournaments. It's just, there's something about it that I really can't explain. It's what the passion is, I think, for the sport us guys just love. You know, the drive of trying to outfish the competitors is probably the main thing. And then when you catch that big bass, or you have that stellar day, you know, them stellar days are only, if you fish for a whole month, maybe 1 or 2 times a month, you'll have that stellar day. And honestly, you know, some of the really bad days are always outweighed by them real stellar days, to be honest with you. So right now I'm doing some punching, mostly flipping around the area. A lot of these fish it's been cold down here in Florida, so when it gets cold, a lot of these fish will tuck underneath the mats and kind of get some warmth because the mats hold warmth instead of the trees. Right now I'm throwing a Shimano Chronarch. I'm throwing an XG, which is a very fast one. Reason for that is because a lot of these fish will bite on the fall really fast, and you got to have a really quick reel to take the line up. Rod-wise, I'm throwing the brand new Shimano Expride. It's the 7.6 Heavy Edition. Great rod for what I'm doing right now because it's not really thick cover. It's got plenty of power though to get these big fish out of here, what I'm doing. Line-wise, I'm throwing a 65-pound braid. The vegetation's a little bit thick, so I got a 1 ounce tungsten weight on to a 4/0 straight shank hook, and I'm just throwing a beaver style bait in black and blue. It's better to have the bite than not have the bite at all. So percentage-wise, isn't the greatest, but it's like I said, it's better to have a chance than have no chance at all.
Do you think there's room underneath there, or are they inside there just sitting?
Well, this is a little bit of a narrower weed line where the other ones kind of came out and matted out. Like certain areas like that where it sticks out a little bit more would be a higher percentage area. But man, I've seen them tuck underneath of these things to where their back is just literally covered up. Like I said, so a lot of these little mats, you know, these are smaller mats, if you will, or hyacinth. The deal is kind of, you know, that's out of the water. The sun's beating on that. A bass wants to literally put his back against it. A lot of times in Florida, like I said, it's gotta, them bass will put their back against it. And sometimes, depending on how the bite is, and you can kind of figure this out sometimes. Like I said, they'll bite it a lot of times on the initial fall. But sometimes, if they're right on the bottom of that mat, you'll flip in there and it literally breaks through that mat and they'll bite it right away. Some days, you want to literally flip in there and you want to just hold it to the top of the mat and shake it to the top of the mat because the fish will be up top with it. And if there's a fish, you know, off of your cast a little bit, he'll follow over and get it. If you ever see bluegill underneath the mat in some video, the bluegill just kind of sit there and eat the bottom of the mat, eat the stuff that's down there. Same with the bait fish. It's kind of the same concept that we want to do with the flipping bait. You just got to kind of read what the fish are going to tell you to do. Every day that it's tough fishing, I can tell you there's always a way to catch them every single day, no matter what the conditions are. You can pull up to a mat and you can just listen. If you just listen for a mat, you can hear the bluegill popping in the mat. That means the mat is really healthy, it's alive, like I said. If the bluegill there, the bass are there. Now, distinguish whether to flip or throw a frog, it just depends on how thick it is. If it's too thick for a bass to bust through and get that frog, then I'm gonna flip and punch it. Flipping and pitching like this, you know, the goal is to kind of stop it up top, let it fall nice and quiet in the water. That's kind of the goal. And the other thing is too, so when I pitch it in there and I'm looking at it like this and I stop it in there, I want to follow that. I don't want to pull the line. I don't want to pendulum that thing at all. I want that bait to fall natural and straight down. So when I pop it in there, the biggest thing is with flipping and pitching, follow it down, gets to the bottom, click your reel, keep all that tension right on you all the time. Like I said, you never want to have slack unless you're working it. But when that fish bites it, do not have slack. Because when you get to set that hook, the weight we're using is so big that if this bass bites this thing and I do a slack line hook set, a slack line hook set is going to pop. And when it pops, if it's slack, it's going to pop the mouth open. But if I have the tension out and I'm just pulling's going to just completely dig the hook. That's why it's so important with heavy line, big rod, to just pull, get all that slack out and just let her eat.
After getting an education from Greg about fishing mats for big bass, I decided to ask him how a guy from New Jersey felt about fishing around alligators.
When I started fishing the Bassmaster Opens down on the Kissimmee chain, I was actually a little bit nervous getting around them because there's a lot of them there because there's a lot of mats there. And I have had a few literally come to the side of the boat on the Kissimmee chain, but that was the only place I've ever had them come up to the boat. It's a little weird, it definitely is, but you get used to it though.
You ever hook into one?
Yeah, on accident one time actually.
Well, I didn't need to see him hook into one here today, but I was hoping we could get real close for some photos. And then all of a sudden, there was that big one sitting on that little island, just like Bernie Schultz said.